Now, if you see me reach off like I'm about to do, or you suddenly see a tail go across, it's because I rescue cats. There's another one on my lap. And it's they think I'm talking to them when I'm online. So I excuse the interruptions. I want to tell you a little bit about me, my story. You heard everybody else's. Some of you may not know me. My story, I started out as a teacher. I was a PE teacher and coach, sort of taught everything. And also, I was in real estate. I was in medical sales for a while, selling vaccines and such to and pharmaceuticals to veterinarians and different things. So one day, I met a young woman at the beach in Laguna Beach, and she said, "If you take care of the kids for the cruise line, you get a free cruise." And so I'm so excited. I wrote back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it took a year and a half because they wrote back, we hired everybody. I wrote back again, let me know next time you're hiring, wrote back again. The next year saying, I'm still interested. They wrote back, ready to interview you. Well, I was going to spend the summer in Western Samoa, wrote back and said, I'm going to do when I get back in the fall. And they offered me a cruise from LA through the Panama Canal, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and back 4 weeks. So I was in teaching. I went to my principal and I said, I want to take an extra 2 weeks off without pay, during Christmas time. So he approved it. And that cruise changed my life forever. I loved it. And when it's like, this is where I'm supposed to be. So I did it again through the summertime. And then by fall, I was offered position on board where as a cruise host, not working for the cruise line, working for a tour operator, and where they would have me responsible for their groups on the cruise. So I might have 14 people, I might have 150 people, 115 was probably average. And that was my job, to make sure that I did cocktail parties and briefings, and I would try to have events. Just different things that, to try to enhance their cruise for them. And I loved it. And the first couple of years, I did mainly Alaska, Caribbean, Caribbean, Mexico, Panama Canal, back and forth. Loved it. And then after a couple of years, I said, I'm ready to go long distance. So I did cruises to all over Hawaii, down to all through the South Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, China, Southeast Asia, Europe, by cruise ship. And then after a while, I said, gosh, I'm ready to do tours. So my first tour, this is Leo, he's not going to stay off my lap. My first tour was 28 days in China. And this was back when we were on military planes where you'd look out the window and you'd see I'm aging myself, but they were old Russian military planes, and you'd see the wheels hanging off of the wings, and you just drooled on me. That's really nice. Anyway, so we were in Chinese hotels eating Chinese food. We weren't quite sure what we were eating, but it didn't agree with our systems very often. It was tough. You were lucky if you had a bathroom. They were mainly holes in the ground at that point. So I'd wear a long skirt because, I would carry toilet paper for the people, spoons, plastic spoons and forks, and lots of handy wipes, and a lot of things that carry with us today now too. But it was tough. Now it's one of the easiest places to do tours because they have gorgeous resort hotels, wonderful buffets, beautiful motor coaches. We went school buses without toilets going through areas where there weren't any toilets. Beautiful planes. It's a whole different thing now, but it was tough. That was my first land tour, 28 days. And we kind of looked like refugees when we left. And I remember sending in my report, and I did not request another tour. And then my next tour came about, and it was South America. Wonderful itinerary. I think we started in Venezuela. I know we did Iguazu Falls, Brazil, Copacabana Beach, all of that, all the way down to Argentina and the Pampas and the Gauchos and all that. It was great. So, but lots of challenges along the way. Like Iguazu Falls, and the flight was canceled, and there are not a lot of flights in there. Took me, I think, over 24 hours to finally get them to Rio. And it was a long day with very, very little food, lots of challenges. And I decided, why am I not on the cruise ship? So eventually I learned how to do tours. Did a lot of China, Southeast Asia, still do Australia, New Zealand, Fiji. And I like the longer Eastern Europe. I like the longer tours. I get people that are well traveled compared to the shorter European tours. So I don't, actually, I did that like 10 years. I just said, keep me traveling. I was home maybe 2 days a month. I was booked out 3 months in advance. I loved it. And eventually I started getting pets and I wanted to be home. So I started my training, and I started out with colleges, went to the colleges from Oxnard and Camarillo all the way down through San Diego and everything in between. And I said, look, here's all these wonderful careers and nobody knows anything about them. And so I started through community services, adult courses, and then had a couple of credit courses, wrote my textbook, tour directing. God, I can't get this on here, can I? Anyway, yeah, it's my tour. There it is. There's my tour director training guide. And did that for a long time. And then 9/11 hit. Was it that? Yeah, it was after 9/11, I think. At that time, I started teaching online. So for 10 years, I mean, because suddenly I had time at home, put together a course, my first online course, 2,400 colleges worldwide, had students from all over the world. But the problem was everything was written. It wasn't videos and all that, but also I couldn't work with the students outside the course. Because it was public education. So everything had to be in the discussion area. Now, some would find me. I'm pretty easy to find, really easy to find on the internet, and some would find me and I could help them. But to me, the goal is to get you hired and get you working. So, and I couldn't do that in an online class. So anyway, then I went, okay, the last recession, I thought, okay, the enrollment went down, I'll do my own course. Well, finally, 2019, I came out with my own course full of videos and personal help, and we can do phone calls and Zooms and, all of that. So, but anyway, so that's where I am now.